This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England. North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree. And Leo Inc., your local community action agency.
Happy holidays and welcome back to LCTV News. We're in the home stretch with family and baked goods filling our houses. We have a double lowdown this week composed of Sweet Sadie's difference makers and diverse people united. There's a lot to cover, so let's jump right in with the news for Friday, December 22nd, 2023. Between the City Council meeting on the 19th and school committee last week, Lynn held multiple send-offs for politicians who have been serving the city for many years. On the school side, Tiffany Magnolia and Donna Coppola were honored with congratulatory proclamations from the Massachusetts Senate and House of Representatives. Magnolia served for one term and was recognized by both the mayor and Superintendent Alvarez for her passion in advocating for an equitable school system, most notably for the LGBTQ+ community. Coppola served for 24 years under 5 mayors and 6 superintendents before choosing to not run again this cycle. According to Alvarez, quote, Donna was an advocate for students and families, as well as all staff members. Her selflessness in service to others cannot be overstated, end quote. The City Council bid farewell to Ward 1 Councilor Wayne Losey, Ward 2 Councilor Rick Starbird, and Ward 4 Councilor Rich Colucci. Losey served from 2003 to 2023 and was described as someone who would always support others and offer advice by City Council President Jay Walsh. Starbird served for 6 years, highlighting the work done by the council, city departments, and citizens to keep Lynn moving forward, especially during COVID-19. Colucci is the longest-serving councilor in the city's history, going for 2 stints, beginning in 1990 to 95, then again from 1998 to 2023. He thanked his constituents as well as former and present council members and mayors for all the work they have done together. All 3 were then congratulated by the mayor, and a moment of silence was observed for the late councilor at large, Buzzy Barton. A Bangladesh flag raising took place at City Hall on the 15th to celebrate their independence from Palestine in 1972. Sponsored by the Bangladesh Association of New England, it was a day to celebrate their freedom and heritage.
It's an honor to be here today to celebrate Bangladesh Celebration Day with you. Thank you, the Honorable Mayor and the city for hosting this event. Like any other awards, this award, our Independence Award, was against the injustice, cruelty, and we fought for 9 months to gain our independence from Pakistan.
Today, on this day of victory, the Bangladesh community once again become a proud witness, and let us pledge that in the future we will unite.
It is so wonderful to have these opportunities to come together to celebrate the different cultures, the different heritage that we have here in the city of Lynn. I have had the privilege and the honor of working with members of the Bangladeshi community and also working with the Bangladeshi Association of New England. What a strong and powerful and important voice. We are honored to have this regional leader in the Bangladeshi community have such a terrific presence right here in the city of Lynn, and look forward to continue our partnership as the Bangladeshi community adds so much to our city, and we have an opportunity to help the city in service of the broader Bangladeshi community. So thank you all for being here. Happy Victory Day.
As of Monday, December 18th, the commuter rail is once again serving the city of Lynn through the use of temporary platforms. Since the closure of the Lynn station last year, commuters had to use alternate modes of transportation, including taking a shuttle bus to Swampscott or driving to Wonderland to pick up the train. The interim station consists of 2 platforms. The outbound one, which can be reached using a walkway next to the Senior Center on Friend Street, and the inbound one via Ellis Street parking lot. The entire station is also accessible with ramp access to each platform. The walkway connecting the 2 platforms uses the existing sidewalks under the Silsby Street Bridge. Saturday was jam-packed, beginning with the 2nd annual Inclusive Santa Photos put on by the North Shore Juneteenth Association at the Lynn Public Library. Santas representing 6 different ethnicities were present, allowing families the chance to choose which one they wanted a picture with.
So we're here at the Lynn Public Library in our 2nd year of the Inclusive Santa event. So we want to thank the Lynn Public Library again for allowing us to have this event. It has doubled in size, maybe tripled this year. And we are the idea, the brains behind the Inclusive Santa event. So we have 6 Santas this year of all different cultures. And we also want to thank our sponsors.
So we want to thank Lynn Community Health Center, Cross Country Mortgage, the Lynn Delegation, Sen Center, Energy Bar, Presidio, Wegmans, Bagel World, and L'Arte di Carina Dominican for the bakery for our cupcakes.
Right, so we have arts and crafts here. We have some goodie bags for each child, and the children are having an amazing time. The families are very thankful to have a free event where they can come and take pictures with multicultural Santas, and it's just been an exciting day. It's been very busy.
And we were so excited to offer breakfast this year through Bagel World and Wegmans, the cupcakes and decorating the cookies, just so much going on down there.
And oh my goodness, we have elves this year too. We have elves, we have a Mrs. Claus, we have the Grinch here this year. So we had a lot of support from the community.
Yes.
Lisa and Louise and Maria from the Lynn Disability Network, they came to, today and set up a sensory area for the kids. So we had some children with special needs also attend the event this year, so that's huge. We're definitely going to need a bigger space. The Lynn Fire Department showed up with a fire truck, which was amazing.
Yeah, and really what's evident today is Lynn shows up for their community. Yeah. So many people are here.
That's why we love Lynn. With the community always shows up and shows support for our kids, especially in families. So this was an amazing event. Make sure you make it out next year because there will be one next year. So Inclusive Santa with North Shore Juneteenth Association.
The city awarded $400,000 of American Rescue Plan Act funding to Northeast Legal Aid to provide legal assistance to households facing eviction. Their goal with this money is to increase their number of clients by providing free legal assistance, allowing people to remain in their homes, and educating tenants about their rights. They provide a variety of services, from emergency representation, tenants' rights information, intake and paralegals, and attorneys. As of November, they served 98 clients in multiple languages, with the majority of their cases involving private housing, but some are public housing as well. Francis Moore and his wife Phoebe are buried in the Pine Grove Cemetery. Their significance? Moore is a confirmed participant in the Boston Tea Party, who threw tea into the harbor with no disguise. He was honored on the 250th anniversary of the Tea Party, Saturday the 16th, with a reading of his story next to the gravesite.
Mr. Francis Moore, aged 93. He was one of the few daring individuals concerned in the celebration act of throwing over the tea in Boston Harbor at the commencement of the Revolutionary struggle, and was distinguished on that occasion by appearing openly and without disguise, while his comrades were disguised mostly as Indians. But the men who took part in the famous act of defiance on December 16, 1773, were reluctant to talk about it. There was no Sons of Liberty sign-in sheet that night on Griffin's Wharf. It was only 50 years later, when that generation of patriots was dying out, that any serious effort was made to track down the people who were there. Benjamin Kopp, author of the book Defiance of the Patriots, the Tea Party and the making of America, said the first public list of participants didn't appear until 1835, 2 years after Francis's death. With a nation newly anxious to celebrate them, it should be no surprise that the tea tossers seem to come out of the woodwork. Not only does he quote from the obituary, Francis's name appears on the list of the participants in the book's appendix. The couple's remains were reinterred in Isaiah's plot, which is here, overlooking the city. Francis's epitaph reads, "One of the revolutionary patriots who, undisguised, assisted in the throwing of tea into Boston Harbor. He was a baker in Cambridge and supplied the army while encamped in the vicinity with bread at a great personal sacrifice. As a citizen, he was strictly upright and an affectionate husband and father."
To wrap up the weekend, Running United Nationwide held a toy drive at the Brotherhood, complete with activities for children and Santa, with the goal being to help ensure that all children receive a gift for Christmas.
We are doing a United Christmas event put on for the city of Lynn, just to give back, let them know that we are here to support, let people know that there is mental health issues out there and you're not alone. We have a great support system, so come on down to any of our events and you will get the gist of what we do on a daily basis, not just for the events. This United Christmas event, we got together, we got help with some fun foundations and some great family support and friend support to help with our donations. We had Santa come out, we have all free activities for the kids. Some kids don't even get a book or crayons or coloring pages for Christmas, so at least if they come down to the event, they are offered something, they can walk away and feel a little bit better about themselves, and it gives the parents a little bit more joy to see their kids smiling. Just because the city of Lynn gets a bad name, everybody in it isn't all bad. Everything that we do isn't all bad. It's not just, you know, the crime life and running the streets out here. It's letting everybody know that we can come together and really support and have a great time doing it. We don't have to be out in the streets and being all crazy. There's times that we can all come together, talk, have a great time, and be about what we have to do and just have a great day and be blessed about it all. This is what we want other people to realize, that when you come around and you deal with Running United Nationwide, you are never alone.
A new language opportunity is coming to Lynn in the form of Rosetta Stone, an online language learning program. The district signed a 3.5-year contract with the company beginning in January, with Superintendent Yvonne Alvarez stating how knowing a second language will be a crucial skill moving forward. By the time kindergarten kids are in college or starting a career, they will be competing with people who speak multiple languages, given that a majority of people in the United States will be Spanish-speaking in the next 10 to 15 years. The program will also be available not just to students, but teachers, district staff, and parents. Rosetta Stone offers courses in 25 different languages and will help bridge the communication barriers between staff and families. The Lynn Senior Center held a Christmas celebration on the 21st, complete with dancing, raffles, and a visit from Santa Claus. It brought a smile to the faces of seniors and staff alike.
As the holiday season approaches Christmas, the Lynn Senior Center decided to have a gathering to celebrate the occasion on the 21st of December. It appeared to be a grand old time, with residents enjoying the Christmas music, Santa making an appearance to take pictures, raffles were handed out, and food was donated by the Grace United Methodist Church. Mayor Nicholson himself also stopped by to take a picture with Santa, as well as speak to the residents about the honor of sharing the Christmas spirit with the senior community.
Another amazing year with this incredible group. We are just so proud of everything that you all do here. The spirit, the energy, the friendship, the compassion, the activities, the example that you set for this whole community to embrace life, to embrace one another. We are so proud, and it is truly one of my great honors to be able to participate in this amazing experiment, this amazing team that you all have built here at the Lynn Senior Center. Happy holidays, Lynn Senior Center.
For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
The Healy-Driscoll administration announced their decision to distribute $100 million to all 351 municipalities in Massachusetts through the Fair Share funds. They all received official notices confirming their share for fiscal year 2024, with Lynn slated to receive just over $643,000. Two formulas were used to divide the funds, the first $50 million following Chapter 90 regulations, considering road mileage, population, and employment. The additional 50 are based on each municipality's road mileage. There is a wide range of projects that can be funded, so long as they construct, preserve, or enhance capital facilities. Some examples of eligible projects are the installation of sidewalks, bike lanes, or highway projects. The founder and executive director of Sweet Sadie's Difference Makers came on the Lowdown to share the emotional origin story behind the organization and who inspired him to give back to the community. Here is the Lowdown. Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on the president and founder of Sweet Sadie's Difference Makers. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So quickly, just introduce yourselves for our audience.
My name is Robert McIsaac, and I founded the Sweet Sadie's Difference Makers nonprofit.
So for anyone who may not know as much about it, what's a quick overview of the organization?
So unfortunately, my sister passed away in 2020, and she had muscular dystrophy. And we decided that she was very involved in the community and stuff, and we decided that we wanted to carry on that legacy of hers. And we first did a scholarship at North Shore Community College, and that was the only thing we had. And then I was like, I think we can do more with this. So we decided to do a nonprofit, so it's working well.
Exactly. So you became a nonprofit, you said, I think it's 2021 or
Yep.
so? So how does that affect what you can do or grow your possibilities?
It's more about like what it helps other people that are donating to us, because they can get like the tax ID and like get, I don't know how that works, but like that stuff helps them, and you have more of a presence too. Like when I was just kind of like, oh, we have a scholarship, can you donate? It didn't really mean anything, you know what I mean? And then when you have a nonprofit and you try to gain that name value, like then people are like, yes, I want to help, I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's good.
And to definitely tell, it's a family-run organization, like your board of directors, there's several family members on it, so how did they get involved?
Yeah, my dad right away wanted to be involved because he's very interested in, because he always brought Sarah to the community events. He was her driver to bring her there because obviously she couldn't drive. So he was very involved in that stuff, so he wanted to carry that on, and he's the first person I spoke to about it. And even before Sarah passed, we talked about like maybe having something to help out community, because we love Lynn so much, so yeah.
And very recently, you launched a brand new website, which looks fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
You said it took a lot of work to get that running.
Yes, it was luckily my girlfriend Luda was very helpful with that. She has her own website with her makeup artist stuff, and so it was very helpful to have her, because there's like connection stuff you have to do, and like you have to name the photos you put in the website and stuff. So it's kind of hard, but yeah, I think it came out good. So.
And it mentioned a little bit too about there's butterflies all over the website. There is a significance to that.
Yes, Sarah loved butterflies, and my sister Rachel, who lives in New Orleans, has a butterfly garden, and in honor of her. So yeah, it has a big significance in us. Yeah.
Which is great. I liked it, the way that they were scattered around and really put in. And another thing you mentioned it's coming up something in December through the Knights of Columbus as well?
Yeah, so that's a Knights event. We're having the annual Christmas craft fair that we have. We're full with vendors, which is awesome. And then parents and kids and everybody can come down and buy whatever the vendors are selling and like crafts and all that stuff. And then we have Santa there to meet with the kids. But for our event, we're hoping we just had in September a walkathon at Breakheart Reservation, and we raised like $7,000, which was really good. And we gave to, so my uncle and my Nana both passed away of ALS, so we gave to the Angel Fund for ALS research. And then we gave to Muscular Dystrophy Association of Massachusetts. And then we also gave to the JCC in New Orleans because they're taking care of my mom because she has dementia right now. So we spread that money out, and we're hoping to have another one March 23rd, which is Sarah's birthday. So it would be really cool to be able to have that.
Yeah, it would be to really spread the awareness. And it's a good segue into how can others in the community get involved if they choose to?
Yeah, they can go to the website, sweetsadie.org, and donate or check out the events. We're always wanting help, and I mean, it takes a lot to run an event by yourself, so it's good to have the help to volunteer and stuff like that. We had someone actually that worked with Sarah at Breakheart Reservation when she was still alive that helped us with the walkathon, which was really cool because I didn't know she was going to help, and I walked up and I saw her and I was like, oh my God, I remember you. So it was nice, yeah.
And it seems like every year you add and you build. Like there's nonprofit, then it's the concert, the walk-on. You seem to really be building every year.
Yeah, we're trying to. We want to keep going because, like, we would love to do a scholarship at Salem State also because that's where Sarah graduated from, and a couple other things we would love to do. But yeah, it takes. You have to get like the concert is a steadfast thing right now. Like people know it's coming. That will be July 13th at the Lynn Knights of Columbus in 2024, and that raises a good amount of money for the scholarship. But then we added, it was actually my girlfriend's idea to add the walkathon because we wanted to help out my mom and stuff. And so, yeah, we're looking into adding like some restaurants like have you come in and you get like a certain percentage of the money and stuff like that. So we're looking into that for maybe next year to add another thing. So yeah, it's good to keep growing.
Oh, definitely. And you have in a very impressive way the last few years. And you mentioned the scholarships a few times. How many are given, and how do you, I guess, choose who gets them?
So we have two $1,500 scholarships every year, so $3,000 in total. And we have certain parameters where we would like to give, we're trying to help people with disabilities. So we would like to give them first. And then if there's nobody applying for that, like Lynn residents definitely and stuff like that. So there's certain parameters, but we've had a lot of, I mean, if you go on the website, you can read the thank you letters from the people that have gotten the scholarships, and they're very, very thankful.
It's a beautiful thing to have done in her memory. And I saw one of the things that is mentioned on the website is she never let anything, your sister, limit her, any physical limitations or anything. So how do you think that something like this really shows that legacy?
Yeah, so it helps personally and professionally where like if she was suffering from muscular dystrophy and all sorts of different issues, lungs collapsing and a bunch of different things, and she always stays positive. So like when you're in bed complaining you have a cough or something, it kind of makes you like, no, this is nothing, like keep going. So with the nonprofit, it's the same thing. Like unfortunately our concert last year wasn't greatly attended because we had to move it around because of a snowstorm. And that's why this year we put it in the summer. And so, it just teaches you to just keep moving forward, and things will happen, but you can get over any obstacle.
You can definitely tell that's clear in your persistence and in the organization as a whole, I guess, or definitely.
Yep.
And for events like the walkathons, the concerts, are there tickets? How do those usually work for people getting involved?
For the walkathon, we did, so you can register on our website, and if you want to, you can also register and donate. Some people have done that. And we also had like sponsorships where we created t-shirts where the sponsors got to be on the back of our t-shirt, and we created like $300 from a, I know the Lazy Dog did one and stuff like that. Local Lynn people did it, and then we also did like raffles and stuff like that. So it's good to have that, and then on the website you can register, and then for the concert is tickets. You can buy the tickets, and when you get there there'll be raffles and stuff like that to gain more money for the scholarship.
I went to the concert this past Toronto. It was great. It was so fun. And
Yeah.
It's a great event like that.
Yeah, the band Two Drink Minimum is awesome. They're really, really good. And they've been great for us. They tell us that we don't need to pay them, and then they got like a bunch of tips at the concert and gave it to us as a donation.
Wow.
I was like, you didn't need to do that. You need some payment. But
so the whole thing is just, you can tell how invested people are and how generous and amazing they are. And I have to wrap up in a minute, but is there anything else you wanted to mention that I didn't touch on?
No, just go to the website and check it out. We worked really hard. It's www.sweetsadie.org, and yeah, donate if you can.
Well, thanks again for coming on to really spread this amazing nonprofit.
Thank you.
Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This is the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. In the box, the sports update. Both the boys and girls hockey teams for St. Mary's secured victories, 5-2 over Bridgewater Rayham and 4-1 against Archbishop Williams. The boys had double the amount of shots on goal, 36-18, and held a 4-goal lead until late in the game. They followed this with a 3-0 victory over Bishop Fenwick, outshooting their rival 40-11, while the girls remained perfect at 4-0, downing Notre Dame 2-0 on the 20th. The Classical boys basketball team is struggling, losing their third contest in a row, 52-63 to Everett. Marvin Avery Jr. was again a leading scorer with 11 points. Despite being down 2 starters, the Girl Rams defended their home hardwood, downing Everett 36-26. Everett was unable to score for the entire first quarter, and by halftime, Classical had built a 20-6 lead. It became closer in the second half, 32-26, with 2.5 minutes remaining, but the Rams nailed 2 free throws and a basket to rebuild and retain their double-digit lead. The Boy Tigers were also victorious, beating Boston English 74-68. Giovanni Jean had an impressive night, knocking down 29 points, followed closely by Edric Gonzalez, who grabbed 20 points and 10 rebounds. They followed this up with a narrow 47-46 win against East Boston. Their girls' team had an equally impressive night on the 19th, downing Shawsheen 57-53 with 2 players scoring in the 20s. Both the Bulldogs upped their records. The boys put on a show against Somerville, winning by a 24-point margin, 72-48, to remain perfect on the year at 3-0. The girls' game was closer, 36-31, but that was enough for their first win of the season. The Kip boys lost their undefeated season, falling 75-49 to still undefeated Peabody. St. Mary's basketball had a more mixed bag, seeing their boys fall to longtime rival St. John's Prep 78-60, but their girls beat Pope Francis by 26 points, 63-37 in enemy territory, and defending state champion Springfield International Charter School 49-39 on the 20th, going 5 for 5 in this young season. The Celtics are now 14-0 at home and 21-6 overall. Their 5-game win streak was snapped by the Golden State Warriors on the 19th. It was a tie game going into overtime, but the Warriors outshot Boston 11-5 for the 132-136 win. The green and white were undeterred, bouncing back with a 144-119 handling of the Sacramento Kings, which saw 5 Celtics score in the 20s for only the 5th time in their history and the first time since 1987. Boston remains in first place in the Eastern Conference, with Jason Tatum earning Player of the Month. Jaylen Brown and Derek White are also making noise, leading the team with 28 points apiece in the win. The Bruins dropped 2 in a row for only the second time this season, both in overtime, 2-1 to the New York Rangers and 4-3 against the Minnesota Wild. They are still hanging on to first place by 3 games over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Diverse People United, a social justice organization, also joined us on the Lowdown to give details on their mission in Lynn. Their goal is to create transformative healing through cooperative community-based actions. Here is the second Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on the Outreach and Education Director for Diverse Peoples United. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, would you mind just introducing yourself real quick?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Barbara Atim Okeny. I'm the Outreach and Education Director for Diverse People United.
So can you just give us a quick overview about the organization itself? It was founded back in 2020 after the killing of George Floyd. Can you give a little bit of the history?
Yep, I can do that. Yeah, so our organization was created in the summer of 2020, around when there was a lot of protest and action going on in Lynn in response to the unjust killing of George Floyd. So at that time, our organization really started with us getting into the streets and making noise and really trying to bring attention to the issue of police brutality, whether it's like more like nationally, due to George Floyd and other like Black and brown folks who've been killed by the police, or even locally injustices that the police have enacted on folks. So it was created by Neil Wittridge, Anthony Coleman, and Letty Coleman. So the 3 of them had started the organization and started to recruit people in the summer. So that was how I was initially connected with the organization, through attending the protests and speaking to Neil.
And in your role, Outreach and Education Director, what's involved in that? Like, what's your main role?
Yeah, so with my role, it really encompasses a lot of different aspects of the organization. So we very much try to have each of the roles center on the strengths that folks have within the organization. So my role encompasses initiatives related to mental health, related to different types of advocacy, so whether it's like legislative advocacy or more community-focused advocacy. So we are an active member of the Lynn Racial Justice Coalition, so in that sort of realm as well. In education too, with having a background in working in education systems as a mental health counselor and art therapist. Yeah.
And another big point you make is your youth education program, and really trying to get the youth involved in that. So you want to talk about upcoming programs?
Yeah, sure. Yep. So we have a program that's going to be grant funded by the Lynn Cultural Council. So it's coming up in the February vacation. So it's February 17th to the 19th. So we're going to be having a combined program. So in past years, we've run either the Anti-Racist Education Program or we've run the Youth Rising Summit. So this program that's upcoming will be a combination of the 2. So it's going to be, for our Anti-Racist Education Program, it really is a way for us to try to be able to teach youth about the real history of the United States and kind of having important and necessary conversations about race and racism, and trying to really make it interactive. So we'll have different kinds of opportunities for like watching movies and having discussions about that, and being able to create some artwork, whether it's individual or collective, like community art making. So that's the anti-racist portion of it. And for the Youth Rising Summit portion, it really focuses on youth empowerment. So really trying to kind of bring the different things we're teaching in the anti-racist education program, and making sure that that youth kind of have a direction they would like to go into when it comes to their own kind of organizing and advocacy.
Great. And even talking about direction, you sent me a declaration that's been created by the organization, which I thought was really interesting and very cool. You said you're slowly developing it as you grow as an organization.
Yeah. Yeah. So our declaration, it really is like centered on different sorts of kind of themes and philosophies, and kind of very much aligns with our mission of trying to create transformative healing through community-based actions. So our organization draws a lot of inspiration from the Black Panther Party, a lot of the work that they did within their movement. We're really trying to make sure that we're like centering anti-racism, abolition, and really like advocating for the rights of folks who are impacted by all different types of community trauma. So we kind of have the declaration that we look at each year and try to get a sense for whether it aligns with our intent and kind of how we're working within the Lynn community and how we're organizing.
You mentioned before collective or transformative healing. What would that mean exactly? How would you define that?
Yeah, so I would define that as a way for us to be able to really like come into the community and bring a sense of like ability to bring a sense of healing, and really addressing the very real impacts of different types of trauma that folks, particularly folks of color, can experience due to policing or other sorts of systemic inequities. Kind of really trying to do that through, I think, radical change and love and liberation. So really trying to center those types of values in the different ways that we approach healing, kind of conceptualize it. So whether it's through different types of like actions that we have in the community, kind of bringing folks in and providing a platform for folks to be able to speak, or the different programs that we have that offer the opportunity to use art as a form of healing.
And you also, I've seen you support other, as you call them, allied movements as well. So there is a very large range you have for advocacy and supporting causes.
Yes, it is. And that's been part of our history as an organization. So we have been able to, we've been very fortunate to be able to work with a lot of fellow organizers, whether it's Lynn-based or within the North Shore, who have different sorts of allied movements. So we're able to partner with an organizer, or several organizers, to be able to create a protest in response to hate that was experienced within the Asian American community. So that was one that we were able to do. And more recently, we're in the process of trying to get more involved when it comes to the different actions that are going on in support for Palestinians. It's really being able to kind of see what we can do to be able to be allies and create help to create any sort of change when it comes to the different like movements or struggles for Black liberation.
And anyone who's watching who might be interested in getting involved, how would they go about doing that?
In order to be able to get involved, we are definitely looking for more folks who are interested. We're very like willing to hear about any other ideas that they may have, or if they want to help with the different initiatives that we have going on. But they can reach out to us either by email or by phone. Yeah, and even like on social media, like they can reach out by Facebook or Instagram.
And you mentioned before, but we didn't get too much into it, is legislative advocacy. So that's more really looking at laws, policies, things that can be passed that could create large change. What have you been involved in with that?
Yeah, so with that, so when I initially came into the organization, they had been active for a bit of time, where two of our members, Neil and Anthony, were involved in advocacy for an act called ACEs. So it's an act to create alternatives to community emergency services. So I ended up switching in for them, as it was more of a mental health focused law. So with that, it is a grant funded program that helps to be able to create funding for different communities to create unarmed crisis response teams. So since the creation of it, it has since shifted to being called an act to create equitable approaches to public health. So we've been advocating for a few years now, and it's received I think similar pushback to other kinds of movements for unarmed response, independent of the police. So we've transitioned to it being more of a public health kind of bill. But it has been a way for us to be able to create change on a different level, and something that has the ability to impact not just Lynn, but also other communities within Massachusetts, having access to those funds. So as of right now, there was a public hearing a few months ago where we were able to come in, folks in the community, people who are organizing for this, to speak to our support for the bill. And we're still kind of waiting to see whether it'll be pushed forward or kind of what the next steps will be. but it's in process.
Yeah, that's great to hear. All the different ways that you're involved and really pushing and getting through. So is there anything else that's coming up for the group, or any other things that you wanted to mention, like going into this new year, because we are going to be hitting January soon?
Yeah, I think the other piece to mention, so this past year we had run our Liberation for All event. So in the past we have had, it was called Occupy Wyoming Square. So we've since expanded it to be part of a community gathering in addition to a protest. So we may be running that in the summer as well. So it could be something to check out, or check our social media to see if we have it. Yeah, but typically we have it around 4th of July to represent the struggle for freedom and liberation for folks of color.
I remember that from earlier, from last year. It's getting significantly larger in the years that you're running, which is really impressive to say.
Thank you.
And I know you sent over so much information, and I was trying to go through it, but is there anything else that you wanted to mention, or any other points that I didn't bring up that you wanted to before I have to wrap it up?
No, I don't believe so. Yeah, I think we touched on everything. Yeah.
Great, hit all the points. Yeah. Great. I'm happy when I do that. But I want to thank you again for coming on to really talk about such a great organization and all the work you've been doing in the community.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Right. Of course, anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Now we shift to the community calendar. The annual Christmas parade is this Sunday, December 24th from 5 to 10 p.m. with scheduled 10-minute breaks at State Street and Cedar Brook Road. An interactive map of the entire route is available on lyntv.org for anyone interested in knowing the approximate times the parade will be at various parts of the city. Do not contact the police or fire departments to ask where the parade is, only contact if in need of emergency help. Check the parade's Facebook page for updates along the route. The Greater Lynn Senior Services is hosting mass redetermination office hours on the last Thursday of every month from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. this month. It is December 28th. This is through a grant provided by the Executive Office of Elder Services, giving residents 65 and older the opportunity to meet with certified application counselors for help with the redetermination process. This includes one-on-one sessions and help with paperwork. Those interested are encouraged to make an appointment for the event, with each appointment about an hour long. On the second and fourth Thursdays of each month, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greater Lynn hosts a plant-based cooking group. All ages are welcome, but registration is required, with the next one taking place on December 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. The goal is to create and eat plant-based meals together while also reducing waste. The proposed menu is emailed out the Monday before with an RSVP due by Tuesday, as well as any special requests. Cooking begins at 5 p.m., with dinner served at 6 p.m. and cleanup from 6:30 to 7. That is all the news for this week. For the parade route and other events happening around the city, follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television. Visit lyntv.org for press releases, videos, and our complete community calendar. For staff and member content, as well as promos and other videos, go to Lynn Community Television on YouTube. Due to the holidays, we will not be releasing an episode next week. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. I'm Danny Vittori, and we will see you in 2024.